Good evening, happy Saturday. I am Akool, astrological author, analyst, researcher and philosopher. Let us start the session by reciting the Shani mantra since today is Shanivar, lorded by Saturn. I am reciting the mantra of Shani Bhagavan or Shani Maharaj. Om Prang Pring Prong Sho Shanischiraye Namah. Om Prang Pring Prong Sho Shanischiraye Namah. Om Prang Pring Prong Sho Shanischiraye Namah. Jai Shani Devata. Today I have taken the topic titled Mystery of the Empty Houses of the Horoscope Resort. The discussion is going to be very interesting and useful, and I hope it will act as an eye-opener for all of us. It will give a deeper insight in the subject of empty houses. Most of the people remain curious about the result of their empty houses and put me questions also in this regard. So I thought today to clear the gamut. Unraveling the enigma, empty houses in Vedic horoscope. We have 9 planets in Vedic astrology. These are Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, and 12 houses in a horoscope. It is therefore quite natural that at least 3 houses and more will always remain empty in a horoscope. Against 9 planets, if there are 12 houses in a horoscope, at least 3 houses will remain vacant. Always remain vacant in all horoscopes. It is the minimum I am talking about. 3 houses. It can be more. In some horoscopes, it is 7 houses also remaining vacant. But please don't worry about the same. I am going to explain. The empty houses also give a fantastic result and how. Please remain stay attached to me. Please stay attached to me until the end to know the concept and for a deeper insight. Power dynamics. Parashari Jyotish versus Jaimini Jyotish. I am bringing this because it is also vital. In Parashari Jyotish, the planets are considered as the power centers, whereas in Jaimini Astrology it is not so. The invisible forces shaping a house. Every house in your horoscope absorbs influences from multiple sources. Every house in your horoscope absorbs influences from multiple sources. I am revealing the same now. Step by step, planets residing within a house, planets occupying a house, direct influence, imposed energy from any occupants. It brings imposed energy. Suppose your ninth lord is in Lagna, it will bring the significations of the ninth house into the Lagna, altering the promise of the Lagna, albeit towards positive side. Since he is ninth lord, it is only for example. Aspects cast by planets. When a planet aspects a house, subtle rays of influence beaming in. It is also influencing a house, be it occupied or unoccupied. It doesn't matter. The house lord, the ultimate doer, this ruler executes the house's promises, holding the reins of fate of a house, since he is the ruler of the house. Nakshatra lords, hidden role, the stars embedded in the house add crucial, often overlooked cosmic structure. For example, see here, it is Aries sign. Aries sign is Lagna. I am circling the cursor over Aries sign. So Aries sign is comprising of 3 nakshatras. First nakshatra is of Ashwini, that is ruled by Ketu. So Ketu will definitely exert pressure or influence the Aries sign. The second nakshatra is Bhorini, ruled by Venus. So Venus will also influence Aries at subtle level. The third nakshatra is Kritika, ruled by Sun. One pada means 1/4 of the Kritika nakshatra is also there in Aries sign. Look at my cursor. So Sun will also exert influence on Aries sign, which most of the astrologer overlooks, resulting in wrong prediction. You cannot overlook the micro things in a horoscope. These are the micros, the nakshatra lords. They influence a house at the subtle level. Nakshatra secrets in action. Take Aries as the 10th house of career, empty. My cursor is here on Aries. Take Aries as the 10th house of career, empty, yet alive. It is empty, yet alive. How it is alive? It can be expected by any planet. It may or may not be expected, but expected also by any planet that will influence Aries sign. I will first speak about nakshatra, influence of the nakshatra lords. Take Aries as the 10th house of career. For Cancer ascendant, Aries is the 10th house of career. Take Aries as the 10th house of career, empty yet alive. Ketu, Venus and Sun dictate outcomes through their nakshatras, Ashwini, Bhorini, Kritika respectively. Ignoring these, astrologers risk flawed predictions that mislead seekers, means advice seekers. Neighbors impact. Adjacent houses matter. An empty house does not exist in isolation. An empty house does not exist in isolation. It is swayed by aspects on it and influences spilling from neighboring houses via placement or drishti. The ripple effect is profound. The ripple effect is profound. I show it in this horoscope. Take example of Aries. Aries has Pisces behind of it. Aries has Pisces behind of it and Taurus ahead of it. If there are planets in Pisces and Aries, they will influence. If there are planets in Pisces and Taurus, they will influence Aries invariably. How? Please ask me, I will tell. If Saturn and Mars, if Saturn is in Pisces and Mars is in Taurus, it will cause Pap Kartari to Aries. If there is Jupiter in the Pisces and Venus in the Taurus, it will cause Shubh Kartari to Aries. Things will be very easy, smooth sailing, whereas Pap Kartari will cause impediments or obstruction to Aries to function properly. If these houses, even if unoccupied, but aspected by any planet, if Aries is Pisces is aspected by any planet and Taurus is aspected by any planet, they will also influence Aries, because Pisces and Taurus are the neighboring house to Aries, and there is no demarcation of houses in the zodiac. It is all imaginary. The houses are imaginary and not practical. There is no boundary line between the signs. Between the signs, zodiac signs, there is no boundary line. Real life demonstration. Famous chart ahead. I will take a chart. We will dive into a horoscope of a famous personality to illustrate these points, matching astrological insights with historical events, probing empty houses hold power, not voids. I will show in the horoscope. Please stay attached to me until the end if you want to learn astrology seriously. The House Lord's Supreme Authority. The House Lord's Supreme Authority. Above all, the House Lord calls the shots, especially in empty houses. Their role amplifies, turning vacancies into opportunities or challenges without halting life's progress. Empty houses, no barrier to success. Empty houses are no barrier to success. The empty houses do not impede a native's growth story. As far as I know, Enkel recollect instantly in the horoscope of Sri Rajiv Gandhi, the former Prime Minister of India, as many as 7 houses were empty or vacant. And we all know that he was a successful person. Among the horoscopes of famous personalities, only 5 houses were empty in the horoscope of freedom fighter Pandit Sri Jawaharlal Nehru ji. Still, he had to face brunt of rigorous punishment of the colonial regime during the independence struggle of India. He had 7 houses occupied in the horoscope of freedom fighter Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. 7 houses are occupied by planets. Still, he had to face rigorous punishment of the colonial regime, in the face of which 7 houses are unoccupied in the horoscope of Sri Rajiv Gandhi, and his life was more comfortable in comparison to Sri Jawaharlal Nehru. So empty houses doesn't matter, they also give result. But how? We have to know what kind of result we can expect, and from whom. That is the main intention, and I am going to go, and I am going to dive inside. As promised, let me start demonstrating the entire gamut of empty houses on a horoscope. I have taken the horoscope of Srimati Indira Gandhi for case study, where you will be able to understand everything very clearly. It is the horoscope of Srimati Indira Gandhi. Please have a look. In her horoscope, 4 houses are empty. 5 houses are empty. 3rd house, Virgo, is empty, unoccupied. 4th house, Libra, is unoccupied. 8th house, Aquarius, is unoccupied. 9th house, Pisces, is unoccupied, and 10th house, Aries, is unoccupied. Should we think that this house will stop giving result? Not at all. They will give full result to the extent possible, either favorable or unfavorable, depending on the promise. Let us see. Let us examine the 10th house. For example, as an example case, let us take a 10th house, Aries. First we consider Aries is unoccupied, empty. So we are going to analyze Aries, the 10th house, Aries. Aries is unoccupied. It is aspected by Saturn. It is aspected by Saturn through his 10th aspect from Cancer. Saturn is a functional malefic planet for Cancer ascendant. Saturn is a functional malefic planet for Cancer ascendant because of its 8th house lordship. Because of his 8th house lordship. 10th house is Cancer. If we count or if we reckon from 10th house Aries, we will find that Saturn is the 10th and the 11th Lord. As 10th Lord, Saturn is neutral, but as 11th Lord, he is a Trishadaya Lord, most harmful Trishadaya Lord. So, aspect of Saturn on the 10th house Aries is not a welcome thing. It will definitely harm the 10th house signification and compromise with her status, professional status. Sorry. Now let us examine the neighboring houses to the 10th house Aries. The neighboring houses are Pisces and Taurus. The neighboring houses are Pisces and Taurus. Mars has been aspecting Pisces through his 8th aspect. He is 10th Lord of course, but his aspect is going to the 12th house from the 10th house, because Pisces is harmful 12th house from the 10th house, the house of losses to the 10th house, means 10th house of profession. So Mars aspect is not very favorable on the 9th house Pisces, because it is influencing the 9th house, which is 12th house from the 10th house of profession. And we have to keep in mind that 10th house Aries is vacant. Moreover, Mars is also the Lord of Scorpio, which is 8th house from the 10th house of profession. So Mars is not that favorable for her 10th house of Aries. But if we look at the 11th house, it is occupied by Jupiter. It is the succeedent house of the 10th house. 11th house is the succeedent house of the 10th house. In all horoscope, Jupiter is a natural benefic. Jupiter is a natural benefic. From Lagna, Jupiter is the 6th Lord, means 9th Lord from the 10th house of Aries, good lordship, and it is also 9th Lord from Cancer ascendant. For Cancer ascendant, Jupiter is Trikona 9th Lord, very auspicious planet. Now, if we take Aries into consideration, 10th house Aries into consideration, Jupiter is again the Trikona 9th Lord. So Jupiter is a double benefic for the empty 10th house of profession. Once from the Lagna, he is the 9th Lord, and again from the 10th house Aries, he is the 9th Lord. So Jupiter is the double benefic for 10th house Aries, and she became the Prime Minister for the first time on 24th January 1966 during Jupiter Mahadasha. This way we have to examine the empty houses as well as the occupied houses. Now let us bring into picture the nakshatra lords. this cannot be seen in, apparently this cannot be seen, but this house has 3 nakshatras. Aries, the 10th house Aries has 3 nakshatras. The first nakshatra is that of Ashwini, ruled by Ketu. We have to examine Ketu with reference to the 10th house Aries and from the Lagna. Then the second nakshatra is Bhorini, ruled by Venus. So we have to examine Venus also with reference to the Lagna and from the 10th house Aries. Then comes the Kritika nakshatra of and Jupiter and Sun is the Lord. We have to examine Sun from the Lagna as well as from the 10th house Aries. It will tell us the subtle result and bring the picture, clear picture in front of us. When we examine an empty house, unoccupied house, we must examine the nakshatra lords and their disposition in the horoscope. Now let us return to Mars, because we have to discuss a little bit of Mars, since he is the 10th lord. He has a role to play here because he is the supreme. He will implement the promise of the 10th house. Sorry. If we count from the Lagna, we find that Mars is in a friendly sign Leo in the 2nd house from Lagna. If we count from 10th house, we find that 10th house Aries, we find that Mars is in the Trikona of 5th house. In this way, the placement of the Mars is favorable for the 10th house Aries in the horoscope of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. But his aspects are not favorable, that I have explained, particularly the aspect on the 9th house, Pisces, and his lordship of the Scorpio. These two are damaging, which means this means the horoscope indicates that at a given point of time in her life, she will have professional distress, and she had during Saturn Mahadasha. She was unseated from power by Morarji Desai. Now let us proceed further. Now we have to examine the nakshatra lord, who will be examining in detail. In detail, we will be examining the nakshatra lord. We have already examined the aspect of Saturn, which is malefic in respect to the 10th house Aries, and the aspect of Mars is also malefic with reference to the 10th house Aries. We have already discussed about the 10th lord Mars, who has a dual promise. Now let us examine the promises of the nakshatra lords. Ketu's malefic shadow. Since the 10th house is Aries, it is embedded with the nakshatras of Ketu, Venus, and the Sun. We have already discussed, I am again repeating. Ketu is in the natal 12th house. See, in the natal 12th house, Gemini, and is the third house, and is in the third house of changes, Malefic, from the 10th house of profession in Aries. See, it is in the third house from the 10th house of Aries. From Lagna, it is in the 12th house. So Ketu is not keeping very good promise, and it will definitely harm also. Each sign lord is Mercury. Ketu is a shadowy planet, so it will also give the result of its sign lord besides its house placement. See, let us examine Mercury. Mercury is the 12th and the 3rd lord, and from the 10th house it is the 3rd lord and the 6th lord. For his Virgo lordship, it is the 6th lord from the 10th house of Aries, and from the 10th house of Aries, and it is the 3rd lord for his Jaimini lordship from the 10th house of Aries. Where is this is Mercury? Mercury is in the 8th house from the 10th house, Aries. Mercury is in Scorpio, which is 10th house from the, which is the 8th house, unfavorable 8th house from the 10th house of Aries, and it will definitely harm the professional matters of the native. Native means Srimati Indira Gandhi. What happened? Let us see. She was divested of power on 24th March 1977 during her Ketu Antardasha. She was divested of power on 24th March 1977 during her Ketu Antardasha. Ashwini Nakshatra in the 10th house of Aries. In Saturn Mahadasha, when she was replaced by Morarji Desai. See how the empty house gives result based on its nakshatra lord and the planet aspecting it. I have shown on the horoscope that during Saturn Mahadasha and Ketu Antardasha in March 1977, she was divested of power and replaced by Morarji Desai. She was out of power throughout Ketu Antardasha, and she suffered a lot during that period, including humiliation. Venus restorative power. Venus is the lord of Bharini Nakshatra. It is here in the 10th house. We have to examine Venus. Venus is the second lord from the 10th house. From the 10th house, Venus is the second lord of gain and the seventh lord for his Libra lordship and the seventh lord of Podoprapti. Venus is in the 6th house, which is the 9th house from the 10th house of Aries. It is the 6th house is always the Trikona house, means the house of luck of the 10th house of profession, and Venus is the 10th lord. Venus is in the 9th house as the second lord of gain and the 7th lord of Podoprapti from the 10th house. From the 10th house, Aries. Moreover, from Lagna, Saturn is the 4th lord and 11th lord. 11th lord do physical harm or harm to the relationship like elder sibling. But for professional matter, the 11th Lord do not cause any harm, since it is the succeedent house from the 10th house of profession. For professional matter, the natal 11th Lord. For professional matter, the natal 11th Lord, though he is a Trishadaya Malefic, but do not cause harm in the professional matter. In the professional matter, it doesn't cause harm. But the 8th Lord, which is the 11th Lord, 8th Lord, the natal 8th Lord, which is the 11th Lord from the 10th house is always harmful as the Trishadaya 11th Lord. Here it is in this horoscope, it is Aquarius, and Saturn is the most harmful Lord for 10th house Aries. But Venus is not harmful because it will cause harm to the elder sibling. It may give diseases, since it is Bhavad Babam from the 6th house. I am sharing all the extra tips to my viewers. All these are extra tips beyond the ambit of my discussion. I have crossed the ambit of my discussion. I am sharing extra tips, astrological tips. So I requested all of you to stay attached to me until the end. You will learn many extra tips from me if you have patience to continue with me. Because only sincere persons, those who are sincere, they can only learn astrology. Astrology is not that easy that everybody would be able to learn. It is not Dainik Rashifal. So let us return to our focus. Matching milestone. What happened during Venus Antardasha? She was reinstated to power on 14 January 1980 during her Venus Antardasha. Please note the date. It was 14 January 1980. She was reinstated to power during her Venus Antardasha. So see the role of the Nakshatra Lord. It is in the 10th house, Bharini Nakshatra, lorded by Venus. So it gave positive result because of its lordship as well as placement in the horoscope with reference to the 10th house. It gave professional benefit. She returned to power with big majority in the 1980 election, with a very impressive majority. She had thumping victory during 1980 Lok Sabha election, and the opposition whosoever I have forgotten, they were removed from the power. Sun's triumph glow. Sun's triumphant glow. Nakshatra Lord Sun, Kritika Nakshatra, 1 quarter in the 10th house of Aries. I have already told 1 quarter of Kritika is the 10th house of Aries, and 3 quarters in the neighboring house, that is Taurus. 1 quarter in the 10th house of Aries is the natal 2nd Lord and is the favorable trikun of 5th Lord from the 10th house of Aries. Sun's placement is bad, but its lordship is good. See, from 10th house, Sun is the ruler of Leo and is from 10th house Aries, it is the fifth lord, the Trikona fifth lord, most good or favorable lordship. What happened? Making milestone. She became the prime minister for the first time. I am going back. She became the prime minister for the first time on 24 January 1966. On 24 January 1966, during our Sun Antardasha in the Mahadasha of Jupiter. See, all the three nakshatra lords of the empty house gave result. Ketu did because of his promises, bad promises. When Sun and Venus benefited her in professional matter. Please note the date. Please note the date. On 14 January 1980, she became the Prime Minister. She was re-elected as the Prime Minister on 14 January 1980 during Venus Antardasha. And during Sun Antardasha in Jupiter Mahadasha on 24 January 1966, she became the Prime Minister for the first time. So all the nakshatras gave result. All the nakshatras, according to their disposition in the natal horoscope, gave their result. None failed to give result. Ketu gave result. Venus gave result. Sun gave result. I have shown how the empty houses has to be analyzed. Mystery solved. The theory meets practice. Mystery solved. The theory meets practice. I am now closing this horoscope because it is no longer required. Mystery of empty houses resolved. I perceive that I could explicitly unfold the mystery of the empty houses both theoretically and practically with the help of the horoscope. I have also added, thank you, that was something beyond the purview. Mystery solved. That is why the title of this video is Mystery of Empty Houses Resolved. Mystery of empty houses resolved. And many people often express their interest and conveyed to me to bring out a presentation on mystery of the empty houses of the household. And today I have brought out this presentation and placed it before you. If you have liked the video, please give a liking. If you are interested for such academic pieces, academic presentation on astrology, please subscribe the channel, because every day I am bringing something new from educational perspective with regard to astrology. So please do not forget to subscribe the channel and to like the video if you have liked the content. Thanks for remaining attached to me until the end.